It's a lovely good morning and welcome to Camnet TV, which is not just another channel. And as we prepare to celebrate our first anniversary in terms of us covering news, which will be there on the 23rd of May 2021, we give you nothing but the best. But right now we are here to talk about sports and nothing but the best in terms of sports. And I'm your host, Amos, aka Amore, and welcome to Off the Pitch. Like as always, I'm not alone on set. I'm joined by two handsome men, Uncle Rapson and Augustine. Uncle Rapson, welcome to the show.
A very lovely good morning to our dear viewers, and it's been a very, very gruesome week especially for me and my family, and I think we give God all the glory and many thanks for the gift of life that we have, and it's just wonderful that we have to accept everything that happens in our lives, and it was a very, very nice week in terms of sport, and we'll discuss nothing but the usual sport, and it's a busy, busy week for some of the big teams, so we are here to discuss sport.
Augustine, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Amos. We return all the glory and honor to the Most High God. I think I'd like to congratulate Patson Daka on scooping the award of Player of the Year in the Austria Bundesliga. It's not very easy, but it's something which he fully deserves. The numbers that he has are unquestionable.
Anyway, Augustine, you've scoped, you've said you are congratulating, and I can also say I would love to congratulate both of you gents in terms of the performance that Ghana made, and not forgetting Daros.
The guy who lost his wife.
No. And the guy who lost, I think let's pick it up from that. Augustine, you saw how Basop, you know, it's very hard to bet, and that bet was something that he made publicly, live on TV, and he proved you wrong and he won.
I think I was very, very confident that City of Lusaka were going to beat a National Assembly. Have been very, very lackluster this season, we must say. I think they've only managed to pick, is it one victory or two? The entire season they have been struggling, National Assembly, and they are going back to Division 1 football, we must say, and provincial Division 1 football. Basop, I almost won his wife, but unfortunately, National Assembly failed to put on a performance.
I would say, you know, those are supporters that we need, people who are very confident in their teams, because I remember the last time, even you and Rapson at times, they tend to doubt Ghana.
Well, Ghana, surprisingly, I don't know what happened. I think when they win, it becomes a very shocking issue, but I think their trajectory towards getting out of the relegation zone has a very, very serious battle this afternoon as they face Prison Leopards, and it's not going to be a very, very easy encounter, if you ask me. Prison Leopards is just above the relegation zone, and once we bring them down, it will be a situation where Nkana beats them. We are trying to pull them down, narrowing the gap. Of course, Nkana is not going to get out of the relegation zone today, but the gap will be very, very narrowed. But away from Ghana Football Club, before we proceed with the Premier League, I think congratulations to City of Lusaka for that victory over the National Assembly. And we had a very, very special guest last weekend in Alex.
No, congratulate him, in fact.
We need to congratulate him. I'm sure he's glued to the TV, and I'm sure he can't wait to make that call to just talk about that game. But I think he was very, very passionate about taking his wife over a game against National Assembly, and the only club that has a Mo, and you know, he was very, very passionate to discuss is the Wanika Mo, and
the biggest club.
The biggest thing I liked about his comments and the trust that they have was in the belief of Isaac Chansah. He wants young coaches to be given the opportunity to manage young players.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the situation at the City of Lusaka is not a situation where they've given him a target to qualify the team to the Premier League or not. It's a situation where he has to stabilize the team and start challenging for promotion. Like he said, in the next 4 years, they want to be playing CAF Confederation, CAF games, whether Champions League or...
And then 5 years, we know the trophies.
And in 5 years' time, we know the trophies. He's very, very confident. But I'm sure that is very, very backed up by the fact that if you see how administratively they've been doing things, getting all those sponsorship deals they have, and having that kind of a vision, it's a situation where everything is being thrown to the players to do their best, because administratively they've done their part. They've done the sponsorship. He was busy discussing something for sport, and now the players will be driving jeeps.
And if all the ladies.
Yeah. So I think City of Lusaka is on the right track with regards to administration, and it's up to Isaac Chasa to really prove and just make that team tick and qualify to the Premier League.
And as we are talking of that was just a recap of what happened last week on the show. But maybe let me just give you an update in terms of the other games that were played. That's in the Eden League. We had Trident, who was beaten by Kansenshi Dynamos by a goal to nil. We had we had Zesco Shockers, who who managed to beat Angorapson's team, which is Kashikishi Warriors, by 3 goals to nil. It's Kashikishi Angorapson, who was beaten by Zesco Shockers. It was all over. And then we had Mpulungu Heba, who managed to beat Gomes by 1 goal to nil. Chambishi versus Livingston Pirates played to a goalless draw. And then Changa Rangers managed to beat Police College by 4 goals to nil. And Pasopo's team, City of Lusaka, managed to hammer National Assembly by a goal to nil. My team, Fulira Wanderers, managed to beat Kafue Celtic by 2 goals to 1. And we'll just take a very, very short break, and we'll be right back on the other side with more information.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 099 or +260962 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
The
From Forest Rangers Football Club to all media houses, it was dated 19th May 2021. Subject: Coach Tenant Chilumba sent on administrative leave indefinitely. I repeat, it's dated 19th May 2021. Subject: Coach Tenant Chilumba sent on administrative leave indefinitely. Let me just go through the letter very, very fast. I don't know if it's the Forest Rangers Football Club head coach Tenant Chilumba has been sent on administrative leave with immediate effect. In the interim, Coach Owen Kaposa, the second assistant coach, will serve as the acting head coach. Christina Zulu, media PR officer. Angorapson. This was the same issue and same topic that we had last week, I guess. Administrative leave. I think it's becoming a trend.
It's a very, very difficult thing to discuss really, because this trend, if it's not stopped, it will put coaches in a very, very difficult situation to be accepting jobs. I know desperation sometimes occurs in a situation where coaches are unable to understand the proper content of their contracts of employment with these clubs that we have. But I think the bigger picture, like we touched on last week, is a situation where these administrators in football must learn to respect the employment laws of this country. If you are going to force somebody to go on administrative leave, then even before that leave is exhausted, of course it's administrative leave in a way that the coach remains on payroll, on full payroll, but at the same time, these teams will proceed to engage a different coach to come into the picture. We have seen that happen at Nkana Football Club. We have seen that happen at it happened at Zesco United with George. It happened at Zanaco Football Club. It's probably going to happen at Power Dynamos, and now we have Forest Rangers. And this particular trend, really, if not curtailed, it's a very, very bad precedence that we are setting as a country with regards to the protection of these coaches. These coaches are nothing but any other employee who seeks formal employment in any organization, I must say. But if these administrative leaves are not curtailed at any point, I'm glad to confirm that there are some serious changes that are likely to happen. And these changes, for example, like the way, I think, is it FAS? They've got a meeting this weekend. It's either this weekend or the next weekend, where they'll be making some changes to the football fraternity with regards to the quota system. A couple of things have been touched on. And I would want an emphasis to be echoed from Football Association of Zambia with regards to the respect that these clubs should have to the coaches.
Maybe let's look at the point that Basopo raised. I think it's last week on the same issue, where we said they fear paying the whole bulky money. They would rather be paying you peanuts, but send you on leave, but be paying you peanuts.
August, you to leave.
I think it's something which has been a trend. I think in Zambian football, it's very, very common. One thing I've noticed is that we have got coaching clinics for the coaches, to train the coaches. We do train footballers, they train every day on the field of play, but we're not training administrators. I think that's one area where we need to engage now. For the Football Association of Zambia needs to come in and start having workshops for these administrators, because they know nothing about football. I think it's clear. It's very, very clear. They know nothing about football. They do not love football. They do not have the heart for the game. Ask any administrator who's sending these coaches on leave, how many players do they know from their team? None. You get surprised. Some of these administrators, they get someone because a club is being sponsored by a certain company. They get someone from that company to come and run a football club who doesn't even have a connection in terms of the way football is run. We've seen this in Europe. The big six are, they said the greedy six, like they call them. There are people running those football clubs who do not love the football. They do not have anything to, it's purely business. And you can see this is the same thing that is happening with this administrative leave, because they do not want to pay the coaches their package, because they feel that the company of the football club will lose money. But now the question, I think, to the coaches now, it's how do they interpret the contracts that have been offered to them. Basopo raised a point to say now clubs and associations cannot engage with Peter Kaumba, because he's one who reads through his contracts very, very well. And this is something which these coaches need to be doing. They need to read through the contracts and they need to understand what is being offered. I think if it's a contract which is performance based, I think it can be terminated mutually. If you do not reach your targets, they set targets, you do not reach your targets, you get fired. There's nothing like sending you on administrative leave. I think it's something which the Football Association of Zambia really need to do something about, because I think it's not a very good picture for Zambian football, which we want the league to be professional.
But why would you say TC went wrong, Angorapson?
It's purely administrative, very, very difficult. The result from the pitch, we all know that Forest Rangers is, they purely lost it at some point. They were consistently in the top 4, and for me to replace such a gallant coach, a coach that left Cabo Warriors to go and join Forest Rangers at this point where they were very close to playing CAF Confederations Cup, and they are still very close. They have a potential mathematical chance of dropping into that top 4 if they manage to pick up points in their remaining matches. But this is a situation where we have 2 brilliant coaches in Perry Mutapa and Tenan Chirumba roaming the streets at this point in time. When you look at the coaches that are actually ticking, those with of course it's purely administrative. Perry's situation at Power Dynamos hasn't been very helpful, especially when you look at the performance of Alex Bazong. Very, very critical. His remarks when Ghana Football Club beat Power Dynamos actually aggravated the situation of him going on leave. But I think over and above that, Forest Rangers, their performance, it's very, very difficult to attach it to the administrative leave. It's purely an issue for me, if you ask me my personal opinion, it's purely an issue where the administration has just fallen out of favor with that particular coach. Not really the performance on the pitch. With regards to the performance of the players on the pitch, I think Forest Rangers has been very, very consistent. They've had their ups and downs, their lows, but look at the situation. It started from the time when Beston Chambeshi was rumored to have been on the verge of joining Forest Rangers. He diverted and went to Nkana Football Club, and now they still called him back. He was on. He was neither here nor there. He went away for a week. He missed about a game over the weekend, and probably one game in midweek. The following weekend we saw him back on the bench, and I thought administration and himself had resolved issues and everything else came back to normal. It didn't take a week, a month. There is the situation is back to the same situation now.
I think to me, after the rumors started coming out that Beston Chambeshi was going to take over DC, I think at that point Forest Rangers were I think second or third on the log. They were playing very, very well. Yes, I think they had lost a game. Was it against Lusaka Dynamos, which mounted the pressure, started piling on TC. And then now you saw the form of the side dropped from that. Even when TC came back, the form dropped. I think it was more of a distraction because now they have gone 6 games and they've only managed to win 1. They've been beaten almost in all their away games. They came to Sunset, they got beat by 1-0. They went to Nkoloma and got beat by 3-0 and picked up a draw against a struggling Kito United at Gardens Park. But you can see now TC. This is purely something which is not, the management did not help him. Let's look at their transfer business they did when they were going into continental football. How many quality players did they bring in Forest Rangers? Only one from Mpo. Mpo from Bidcon is someone who can say this is the best signing they made during that going into continental football. They brought in Clifford Mulenga, who wasn't playing a lot of football. I think he was someone who was thinking about getting into coaching because he was doing some coaching courses. He's now playing at Forest Rangers. They lost Adam Zikiru, a proven goal scorer. You lose someone like Adam Zikiru and you do not replace him, and then you expect miracles, the coach to be coming up with miracles week in, week out. I think to me that's very, very unfair. You look at they had problems even when they qualified for net football. Their midfield, they were lacking a lot of creativity. I think they did not address that in the transfer market. Their defensive pairing, they had a lot of challenges in the way their defense was lining up. We saw at Nkoloma Stadium just one injury. A centre back is injured, and now we see Taonga Wembe coming from the right hand side and starting to play as a centre back. You can see the squad, they do not have enough strength and depth in the squad. I think that's a problem for the management. But I think this is one thing we've seen in Zambian football, the trend. Management, they do not invest in these teams, but they expect coaches to be coming up with miracles. Let's talk about Kaizer Warriors, for instance. Kaizer Warriors, they had a very decent team in the transition season. They had Tandi Mwape at the heart of the defense. They had Patrick Kasonga as a holding midfield, and they had Akakuruwera, Jimmy Jovu scoring goals up front. You remember that Kaizer Warriors team? They had Zakaria Chilongoshi.
They lost it
after the transition season, when they lost Red Arrows on the final day. How much investment did the management put in that Kaizer Warriors team? Nothing. But they expect miracles to start happening. I think, to me, this is a joke. I think it's something which needs to be addressed very, very soon.
They acquired a new CEO and they're doing very well.
Yeah. I think now you've seen they've brought someone who has got football brains and has got the heart for the game, and now you can see now Kaizer Warriors moving forward now, and they're a side which we may see them play continental football next season if the results go their way.
Talking about administration, when you look at Kaizer Warriors, like he has touched on, we also saw what happened to Aka. Remember, Aka was on the verge of
joining Lusaka
Dynamos. At the same time, when they were getting their new CEO, things just changed overnight, and Aka is banging in goals for Kaizer Warriors. And look at where Kaizer Warriors is now. In a very, very good position to play continental football next year. And it's purely an investment in both the administration. When you put the right people with the right brains. Remember, their new CEO, Charles Chakatazia, and One Evaristo Kabila, the former president of Nkana Football Club. When they were at the helm of Nkana Football Club was the first to reckon.
And very ambitious.
The fans made noise. Kabila left. Charles Chakatazia's contract, they were neither here nor there. He worked for close to 3 months without a contract. He eventually left and joined Kaizer Warriors. Look at the fortunes at Kaizer Warriors. What Augustine is describing is a situation where from that transitional period to the time when they got Charles, we saw Kaizer Warriors dwindling. They were neither here nor there. But look at where that kind of administration is bringing Kaizer Warriors to. So you can attribute that to administrators who have a heart for football, those with football brains. That's exactly what Kaizer Warriors is going through now. And if only other clubs can emulate that, because what is causing all these issues, like for example at Forest Rangers, for me it's purely a lack of understanding to football. Because when you look at the credentials of one Tenan Chirumba, which other coach in Zambia really can you say, of course, yeah, they are there, but if you ask me about the top 5 coaches in this country at the moment, he's one of the best coaches that we have.
And the way he transformed Forest.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference when Chakatazia, when he was at Ghana, we had him on the program. The way he explained things, and when Ghana was going through a very, very bad period,
it was very fair.
The way he explained things, and he instilled confidence into the fans that there's something which is happening. This could have happened when he walked into that Kaizer Warriors gate. I think he could have talked to Akakuruwera and told him about the project which we were about to embark at as Kaizer Warriors. And he sold it to him, and you can see it's a reason why he chose to stay at Kaizer Warriors, because now you understand you've got a project in place, the roadmap is clear. Unlike when other administrators, let's look at Power Dynamos, another team. Their administrators, every time they keep sending their best players, but how many good players have Power Dynamos bought in the last 5 years?
Go and get Sebastian Mange, failure in South Africa, back in the squad.
Imagine.
And then, of course, you also look at the project at Kaizer Warriors. It's so interesting. Before we shift to other things, look at how Charles is transforming the club. He's put Chabi on administrative leave. What has he done? He brings in a very young coach who was being sidelined at Lusaka Dynamos. That's Ian Bakala. Those are the cream of the new upcoming coaches that we have at the moment. The same thing that is happening to City of Lusaka and the Legions they have. Those are projects for young players, young coaches who are getting to the levels of those veteran coaches that we know.
And it pays off. Let's take a look at Red Arrows. Chisimbe was going through a bad patch, but they had faith in him. They realized this is a future coach, a potential top coach in Zambian football. They had faith in him, they gave him the right tools, and it's helping the football club move forward.
And I think, looking at, as we wind up on that, hopefully something will be done in terms of these administrative leaves that are there. But let's look at the relegation zone in terms of the league. We saw a game that blew everyone's mind, where I would say Alex Ngonga is busy banging in goals. We saw a game that was played in midweek, Ghana versus Napsa Stars, Jimmy Mukeya shining in the 14th minute. How was a boost to Ghana after that win?
For me, the best young player of the of the season at the moment is Jimmy Mukeya, if you ask me. That boy is just a marvel to watch. He's single-handedly proved to me, before I talk about definition, he's proved to me that he's a very, very great finisher, a very, very talented young man. And the goal he scored against Ghana Football Club, I just don't understand how Muhammad Fati missed the opportunity of sending us to Eden University as first-year students in the National League. But clearly, we also on Ghana Football Club having that fighting spirit. And I think for me, kudos go to this colleague of mine, Augustine, for describing Alex Bazo last week. And he passionately described Alex Bazo as a player who has that leadership quality. He may not be wearing the armband, but I think he pushed every team member in that squad to come back from a go down and scoring for unanswered calls.
Let's just look, let's display, if you can just display the week 30 so that we see how the games are and how the league table is, if we can just have. So we are seeing Ghana, who is at 16, and Napsa Stars at 15. That's a game that was played during the week. Augustine, what are the chances of both teams surviving?
Yeah, I think it was a game which Ghana Football Club couldn't afford to lose going into the encounter, facing a team which is just in and around you in that relegation fight in Napsa Stars. And you would see the way this Ghana side approached the game. They were very, very aggressive. They played on the front foot. And one thing I've realized about this Ghana side, they are now very, very quick in transition. And like when Kalindu was in charge, now Peso Chambesha has transformed them. They're very, very good in transition in Ghana. And if you look at their chances now, it's all about winning all their home games. I think that would be very, very key. If they win all their home games, pick up vital away wins, and they'll put pressure on teams like Indeni. Indeni haven't won, and Prison Leopards, they are the only side to have only won one in the last 5. If you look at Indeni,
two that are replacing Ghana and Napsa in the relegation zone.
It will be tricky. I think that remains to be seen. I think Indeni, they had. I think this is one season which we must say is somewhat crazy, because Indeni were mid-table just 3 weeks ago. They were mid-table and flying. Everyone was praising Mwenyachi Pepo. But the fall from grace, you would see the defeat against Napsa Stars. I think that's one thing which Indeni shouldn't have allowed, to allow Napsa Stars to get close to them. At least, if you're playing teams that are close to you, at least a draw, because they'll never get close to you. But if you get beaten by them, they get close to you. And Indeni, they are undoing part this season. I think the only thing that may send them down, we watched them against Angorapson the week 1. They are a very attacking side and very, very open. I think that's the biggest problem. When you do not have that quality to play open football, you struggle like Indeni, because Indeni have scored 35 goals, one of the highest scorers in the league, but they have shipped in 40 goals. So you can see there is no balance between defense and attack. They will attack teams, they will throw everything at teams, but their defense cannot sustain the pressure, and it has showed for them to concede 40 goals is not a joke. Indeni under pressure, falling into that relegation zone. Prison Leopards, ever since Mwenyachi Pepo left, I think they haven't been the same. They had Balange. Balange now is now technical director. They have now Albert Kachinga. Albert Kachinga saved Red Arrows in 2014 from relegation zone. Will it happen again this season? That remains to be seen. It's going to be a very, very tricky season. For Ghana now, their big game is against Prison Leopards, because Prison Leopards are just above them. Beat Prison Leopards, then you now stand a chance of just going to dry land away from that relegation zone.
Don't forget that this league needs Ghana Football Club in the next season.
No, it needs quality teams. If Ghana cannot survive that relegation zone, then we do not need them in the league. And but Football Association of Zambia may find a way to keep Ghana in the Super League. They will just increase it to 20 teams, relegate the last 2, which is Lumana and Kito United.
So you even know where we're going.
Yes,
but I think let's look at the transformation that has been brought to Ghana by Chambesha, having the faith and trust in Diamond Chikwekwe. Because I watched the game that was played midweek, and Chikwekwe was very, 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 very effective. And I think the performance was very, very good for me. 1 assist and 1 goal. I don't know Uncle Rapson, the transformation that's been there.
It's probably, like I said, these are players that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's a situation of psyching the players. All we needed is somebody who can psych the players, change their mental abilities to that of a winning player, and that's exactly what Beston has done to the team. Intriguing that self-belief in each individual player, and collectively, once that is done to the whole team, collectively you have seen a unit which is able to attack. And you know, for the first time this season, the last 4 games from Ghana Football Club, I have seen them attack very quickly, very, very quickly. Previously they would just go, come back, the usual football, but at the moment you are able to see the Ghana Football Club that is going the flanks. We saw one beautiful goal from Chimwemwe in that match where he had an assist from one Harrison Tisala. The confidence that goal has given to Chimwemwe in defense, probably Prison Leopards will have to be very, very strong. They are going to get away with a point at Chilaka Stadium this afternoon, because the belief that is in the Ghana team is exactly what we need to get out of that relegation battle. And for me, I think the most interesting part is seeing Ghana get out of that relegation, and the celebration that will be in Kitwe will probably be more than the league leaders, the league champions this season.
I think just to add on what Uncle
I love your confidence.
Just to add on what Uncle Rapson has said, I think the transformation at Ghana Football Club ever since Beston Chambeshi took over, you can see that he's realized if we are going to stay in this league, we need players that are experienced. He's bringing in those experience to be involved more. We've seen Diamond Chikwekwe now is starting from the first whistle. We've seen Ronald Kampamba coming from the bench. We've seen Sutra Shimenga now is seeing a lot of game. I think he's gone back to bringing those experienced guys, because this period is very, very difficult to bring in a youngster. Yes, Patrick Gondo is doing very, very well as a young player in that he brings a lot of energy and is very, very fearless. You can see what Ghana is doing now. They've just gone back to the basics. Defenders defend. Let defenders defend, and they defend their box very, very jealously. They guide it very, very jealously, and they're doing that at the minute, Ghana. And they pack their midfield. They do not allow you to play through them, because it was very, very easy in Ghana to be played through them. And it's just basics. Let the wingers stay wide, high up the field, and it's happening from Ghana Football Club. Wingers are staying high up the field, staying wide. They are stretching oppositions, and it's giving them advantages to attack these oppositions, and it's something which we'll see maybe help Ghana stay up.
Let's look at Red Arrows fighting to play continental football. Can we just have a display of the week 30 table so that we see after the win that Red Arrows has? Red Arrows Augustine is there sitting third. Red Arrows is sitting third with 30 games played at 46 points.
Very, very, very tricky. I think it's going to be a very, very tricky race for the top 4, because Red Arrows have got 4 games remaining. They have got an away trip to Romana, they've got an away trip to Sunset Stadium, then they host Ghana, who are fighting relegation. It's going to be a very, very tricky encounter on Tuesday, because it's big. On Tuesday, Ghana fighting for their lives. They will throw everything at Red Arrows. They are going to play Wakawa Warriors, a team which is just near the top 4, just on number 5. So Red Arrows have got 4 big games. These games, they should treat them as finals going into this last encounter. They didn't start the season very, very well, but they need to end the season very, very strong. You've realized now Chisimbewe is having a lot of faith in Pokatema to protect that back 4, and in the last 4 games, they've conceded no goals. That's a boost for Red Arrows. Red Arrows, a team who have conceded 14 goals, I've kept 14 clean sheets this season. I think that's a very remarkable achievement.
It's a very, very
defense. If you look at Nkwazi Football Club, I think they have kept the most clean sheets with 16 somewhere there. Red Arrows have kept 14. You can see now they are being solid, because they were too open in the first round. They conceded a lot of goals, but now they are being very, very cautious. They protect their defense very, very well, and when they get a chance, they score. Because going into the first Rangers encounter, James Chamanga had 1 chance and 1 goal. He scored. That's what you need at this level, this time of the season. Yeah, you need a lot of experience. Chamanga has been there. He's won.
Ghana Football Club has 2 serious games. We are facing you guys on Tuesday.
Yes.
And they are not going back to Quito. Probably you'll find them You know those days when we had Charles Chakatazi and Evaristo Kavira, they would spend the night at Southern Sun. But now I think they'll find
Gonde Lodge.
At some lodge in St. Bonaventure. But they'll be here for Tuesday. They have another serious game against, I think, Zanaco next weekend. So they'll probably stay in Osaka from Tuesday up to Saturday.
And hopefully you can have someone from there to explain the transformation that's happening. But then let's take a look at the games that are being played, Augustine. Looking at Red Arrows wanting to play Continental and Ghana wanting to survive. So the games that are being played today, that's the 22nd of May at 13 hours sharp. We've got Napsa Stars versus Green Eagles. Are we seeing an Napsa Stars that will try to revamp themselves from the loss that they had?
Oh, Green Eagles is bouncing back from a bad patch. In midweek, they went on to win by 3 goals to 0. They beat the Oilmen. Who were dry. I think their engines were knocking down all the way from Choma, driving back all the way to Ndora. Was a very long trip for them. And when you see where Green Eagles was coming from prior to the fixture they had in midweek, I think that win in midweek, it was a very, very serious boost for them to get out of that reach in the relegation battle, because they are not far-fetched from being dropped with regards to the number of games that have remained. The win they had in midweek is a very, very great boost. And for me, this game against Napsa Stars very inconsistent, and there are very, very heavy rumors that one Muhammad Fati
administrative leave
spending
after this game.
And probably you and I are going to laugh the loudest when this thing happens.
But why not fire him? Because Muhammad Fati's contract is running out at the end of the season. So if it reaches this stage,
leave is better so that he just walks away through. That is how most of these clubs are getting.
Napsa Stars is interesting. A lot of people are not paying attention to Napsa Stars, but they're in big trouble. They're in big trouble. Everyone thinks Ghana are the only side in trouble, but Napsa Stars are in big trouble because they're not consistent. They cannot put a good run of games together. They cannot put wins together. They are also in trouble.
Ghana is not in trouble. We were in trouble because we had problems with money, problems with players. We couldn't sign players because the transfer window was closed. Napsa Stars is heavily in trouble. They have all the money, they had all the time to buy the players they wanted, and they had everything they needed to participate in the CAF Confederations Cup. And now, the situation they are in, where they are facing Green Eagles today at 13 hours, and once they drop points today, I can tell you that most of the heads at Napsa Stars are going to roll. Heads will roll.
And I'm foreseeing them, once they end the season on a bad record, they will lose star players, and then the first one for me, who is Jimmy Mukea, someone who you've praised already. And then his performance for me has been very good as you know of late. At
Jimmy's Obrigo Mukea, what a talent! I think coming through the Napsa Stars youth ranks, I think he's been at the football club for probably 6 to 7 years. I think he's developed steadily, and the club have monitored him very, very well, and it's good that he's paying back the faith the club.
I was very happy when I heard how Fati has been monitoring the young man. He says, we saw the talent in this boy and we sent him to Marite Rangers to go and have a feel of game time during the course of last season before they got him back on loan from the club. And I think it's a very, very good plus for them, and they have to survive relegation to continue giving the young man the exposure he needs in this big league.
At 15 hours, we've got Zanaco versus Quito United. The Zanaco who is trying their level best to fight for the league title as well.
Someone found me wearing that Zanaco shirt I wore last week when I was watching soccer and says, is this how you plan to administratively leave Ghana Football Club and start supporting Zanaco Football Club? Zanaco, I think their game today against
Quito United.
For me, against struggling Quito United are party spoilers. They are here to prove a point that even as they have dropped into the National League, they can still cause a lot of havoc. We saw how Lusaka Dynamo struggled in their last game. We saw how Ghana Football Club struggled. This team is nowhere but trying to prove the fact that even as we go down, we are going down as men and not as boys. So this game is not going to be very, very easy for Zanaco Football Club. But at the same time, Zanaco Football Club has to win this game to narrow the gap between themselves and
Zanaco United.
Because when you look at tomorrow's game against Lusaka Dynamos, it's not an easy game. It's a repeat of the ABSA final. And I don't think that situation.
No, but we want to prove a point.
I don't think that situation will be the same. I know how stubborn Mamba is and his team, and the talent that is at Zesco United, I can't allow to be beaten by the same team twice.
At 15 hours today, again, we've got Ghana, who is hosting Prison Leopards. Augustine, Pakarampa Pachirata.
I think it's one of those big games, I think, from Ghana Football Club. These are 6-pointers, if you ask me, because these are teams that are close to the relegation zone. You are meeting Prison Leopards. If you want to get out of that relegation zone, you need to start beating teams that are in and around that relegation zone. I think if they just get it right against Prison Leopards, the way they started against NAPSA, they are just confident. They attack Prison Leopards. I think they will be victorious come the end of the day, because if you look at Prison Leopards in recent weeks, I think they do not understand what they want to do as a football club. Their system is not there. They do not know if they have to attack or they have to defend. They're just hoping for maybe a set piece, they score and sit on the lead. That's why the Prison Leopards have been playing recently. They lack confidence, and there's a difference. In Ghana, a confident side going to face this Prison Leopards side who are lacking confidence. And if you look at Prison Leopards, they do not have the faith in the managers like they had in Mwinyachi Pepo. I think that may be one reason they go down.
It reminded me of the confidence and the confusion they even had at the time when they actually thought of bringing Dudley Fichite to That's you see, it's purely a lack of an administrative understanding of football, like we said earlier. So for me, Prison Leopards, they have all the support. I've watched a couple of games. They are well sponsored by the Zambia Prison Services. Well sponsored club. So for me, the game against Ghana Football Club will be very, very interesting, because remember, there's Indeni and then Prison Leopards right above the relegation zone, and I think Ghana Football Club, those will be the main targets.
It's an issue.
If you can't bring a team that you are following behind down on your own, then you expect another team to do the beating for you, it will not happen. So Ghana Football Club just have to.
So it's an issue of winning your games. And tomorrow, Sunday, the 23rd May, we've got at 13 hours Green Buffaloes versus Power Dynamos. That will be live on Super Sport. It will be played at Ngoloma Stadium. And at 15, we've got Lusaka Dynamos versus Zesco United. The shocker of a game that you spoke of, Ango Rapson, saying Number won't allow it to be beaten twice.
Starting with the Green Buffaloes game, really, I was at Nkoloma Stadium when Green Buffaloes played the Zanaco Football Club, and Zanaco Football Club, I'll be very shocked, really, if they are near winning the champion, because you see, the whole lot of this season, they've never won an away game. And Green Buffaloes, the game that we are focusing on for tomorrow at 13 hours against Power Dynamos, it's a situation where even Masao Sotembo has to prove himself. He's been given the mantle and Power Dynamos to take over that team in the absence of one Perry Mtapa who's been sent on administrative leave, and that game is not going to be easy. There's we have very, very good players at Power Dynamos. Power Dynamos, they play all the football. I watched them at Sunset Stadium. They play all the football, if you ask me, but they only had one shot on target in that match. I watched that Sunset Stadium, and if you are not going to be attacking your opponent's box and you expect results to be there for you, it will not happen. I see a game where Green Buffaloes will carry the day tomorrow at Nkoloma Stadium.
Augustine, Lusaka Dynamos versus Zesco United.
It's going to be an interesting encounter, the repeat of the APSA Cup final. Lusaka Dynamos, I think, if you look at the way they went into that final, they wanted it more than Zesco United. Even going down to 10 men after Paul Banda was shown a red card, they still remained solid and took the game to penalties and won it from there. Now they're playing a Zesco United side that hasn't been in good form lately. They have lost back-to-back against Power Dynamos and Ghana Football Club. They need to find their form, Zesco United. It seems the title seems to have already been gone to Zesco United, but going towards the final stretch of the season, you need to put up a very, very good run so that it gives you enough confidence going into continental football as Zesco United. And playing against Lusaka Dynamos, very, very inconsistent Lusaka Dynamos, I must say, in the league. They'll win one, draw, lose. they're just inconsistent, Lusaka Dynamos, and they've struggled for goals this season. You look at their top scorer is probably Colin Sikombe from midfield. They've got Emmanuel Chaula has got just 4 goals the entire season. Their main striker. They got Adam Zikiru. I don't think maybe just came here for vacation at Lusaka Dynamos because he's not seeing any game time. They have got Mutus Cooper is nursing an injury, struggling for fitness going into this encounter. I think the players are there at Lusaka Dynamos, but the system is not there. You may have the top players in this world, but if you don't have the right structure and system for them to play together, it's very, very difficult.
They are slowly putting the structure together because I know probably Wedson Nyirenda and Dian Bakala were pulling one another, where like pose can't attract, they have to repel, and one of them has taken over the Warrior. So probably they are on the right path.
I think we talked about it when the appointment of Wada was made, just right here on the show, because Ian Bagala had gone 10 games unbeaten with Lusaka Dynamos, and then you bring on a Wedson Nyirenda to be head coach. I think that's where the problem started. I think, if you have to be honest, and we've seen the relationship hasn't been very, very good. We heard rumors coming from Lusaka Dynamos that Wedson Nyirenda had picked players on trials who went on trials, picked players. Then his contract ended. Then he went back home for a couple of weeks, coming back only to find those players have been shown the door by Ian Bagala. I think it all started from there.
It was a battle of authority at the technical bench for Lusaka Dynamos, and I'm only hoping that as time goes, we have seen them positioning themselves very well for continental games, and if they maintain their current position on the log as position 3, we will be very, 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 very happy to be watching 2 continental games in Lusaka, in Zanaco Football Club and Lusaka Dynamos.
Why is Red Arrows in there?
I don't know. Let's cross borders.
Red Arrows is very, very inconsistent, and I think in the last few games, that is when now I can comfortably say Chisimbewe has gotten the right formula for the team. Sorry, let me apologize. I must have omitted Red Arrows. We have 3 teams
in Lusaka
playing continental football. Red Arrows' consistency, thanks to young
Alassane
Diarra. That young man in midfield is a marvel to watch, and for me, I think he's been at the heart of the Red Arrows midfield, and it would be good to have 3 teams in Lusaka.
I think as someone who is managed by Frederick Kanuta, I mean to understand very, very soon we may see him going to Red Bull Salzburg. He's the kind of player who is suited for the European League. He's very, very intelligent, his movement, his passing, and you can see the combination with him and James Chamanga. I think it will be very, very vital to keep the 2 feet in the remaining 4 games for Red Arrows.
Let's cross borders. Tomorrow the EPL comes to an end with all the games being played at 17 hours, and for me the battle will be Aston Villa versus Chelsea and Liverpool versus Crystal Palace, because these guys, and Leicester versus Spurs, these guys are vying for positions in terms of
the top 4.
The top 4.
And the battle of Champions League is on, and I think the loss that Leicester City had in the course of the week gave Liverpool everything they needed to play for in the last game, and it will be very, very interesting. A situation where you are not focusing on the relegation zone, it's already done and dusted. Then at the same time, you are not focusing on the championship, it's already sorted out. The battle just before that, 3rd and 4th position in the league. Of course, one Manchester United is very, very secured in 2nd position. And whatever happens, even if we lost by 10 goals to 0 on Sunday tomorrow, it won't have an impact on our game. And I'm sure we'll raise quite a couple of players, knowing very well that we have the final that will be played on Wednesday against Villarreal.
So the league table as it stands, we've got Man City who already won the title with 83 points, and then we've got Man U in 2nd position with 71 points, and then Chelsea 3rd with 67 points, and then Liverpool 4th with 66, and Leicester 5th with 66 points. So the battle is between the 3 teams who are vying for the 3rd and 4th position.
Where is Arsenal?
I say no. Those are teams not to
I think it's interesting for Leicester City. I think they look like they have bottled it in terms of the top four. But going into the last game, Liverpool have struggled against Palace at Anfield in recent years. Palace have gone there and gotten a result. Chelsea, they are playing against Aston Villa, who have been giant killers this season. They've beaten Liverpool by 7. They beat Arsenal. I think it's a very, very tricky encounter. Villa can get something out from that game against Chelsea. Then it leaves the opportunity for Leicester to now beat Spurs and get into the top four. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how it pans out. The first goals in these games will be very, very crucial.
So we are seeing Chelsea suffering the most in terms of the outcome.
It's a tricky game, Chelsea, very against Villa, but you think Chelsea have got enough to get over the line. But the worrying part is that top scorer has got 7 goals. Let's take a look at the La Liga, where the trophy is going to Madrid, but which Madrid? Because we've got Atletico Madrid, who has got 83 points, and Real Madrid second with 81 points. And it has to be decided the trophy is going to Madrid, but which Madrid?
I think for me it would be very, very disheartening for Diego Simeone to lose it at this point in time, because he has done everything possible, and I think he'll be winning this title for the first time, I think, probably 9 years. Is it 9 or 11?
Atletico Madrid is playing
Valladolid. I think that's.
And then Real Madrid is playing Villarreal.
Yeah, it's very, very tricky. Villarreal probably will rest their players thinking of the Europa final.
This is where match fixing comes.
Valladolid have to play for their lives because they have to survive relegation, and going up against Atletico Madrid is going to be very, very tricky because in Spain it's not goal difference, it's head to head. So Atletico Madrid have to win this encounter for them to be confirmed champions.
Anyway, looking at time, hopefully we just wish the best to any team that carries the day. The league is being decided today in Spain, and hopefully Diego Simeone will carry the day. Angorapson, your closing remarks in a minute, in 30 seconds.
Well, Diego Simeone, for me, I think he deserves to win the title when you look at the inconsistencies of Real Madrid and Barcelona. But coming back home, I think I can only wish all the best to Ghana Football Club. From here, I'm going to cover one game. I think Napsa Queens are playing. The game has started. I should be able to catch them up and see the second half before I shift to Sunset Stadium. All the best to Ghana Football Club this afternoon as we fight relegation.
Augustine, your last?
I think a big one tomorrow in community football. We have got Kamanga Rangers playing Jumbe's local derby Precision at top of the table. Very, very good youngsters. They play very, very good football. It's going to be very, very tricky tomorrow at Mukolo Grounds. And would like to thank all the viewers who tuned in to watch us, and a big thanks to the entire production team that made this possible.
And a lot has been said by Augustine and Angorapson. Hopefully we will enjoy and be entertained in terms of the deciding games that are being played today in Spain. But for us, we've come to the end of the show, and hopefully we'll continue wishing ourselves all the best as we clock the first anniversary of us broadcasting news, and we've been giving you nothing but the best in terms of news, because we are not just another channel. Stay glued, as amazing Katamanda is coming on your screens live with the weekly gospel show. For us, we are out. It's bye-bye. See you next week.